Has been serving in several senior positions, and in his address he said that police stations will be empowered. Makhura has also vowed to intensify the fight against crime in the province. Mawela's predecessor, Delanga, vacated her post in October last year after 35 years in the service. Delanga is accused of being part of an elaborate fraud scheme involving dubious tax certificates for a lucrative 84 million rand tender involving government vehicles. Well, to help us take this story a little further, we're now joined from our Pretoria studios by independent crime analyst Dr. Chris de Kock. Dr. de Kock, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the programme. What do you make of this appointment? The police needs to be gaining trust again and trying to, I suppose, get, as I said, the trust of the public. Will this appointment do that?
Well, I must say I think it's an excellent appointment in the sense that General Mawela served for many years in the South African Police Service, especially in operational positions. You see, I mean, you get many people who serve for many years in the police service, but not in operational. He was he's an operator, and I think it's a very good appointment. But I don't want to just talk about the person. I think I've said enough about that one. One should remember that Gauteng is one of the most, well, it's actually the most difficult province of the 9 provinces of South Africa when it comes to crime. You know, sometimes people make a joke and say the GP on our license plate stand for Gangster Paradise. And it's not far from the truth. If we look at crime figures, in many cases, some of our most serious crime, 50% of those occur in Gauteng, in the one province. For example, and if I can give you some figures, for example, motor vehicle theft is 50.8% of all motor vehicle theft occur in Gauteng. Carjacking, even higher, 50.6% or 51%. Of carjackings occur in Gauteng. House robbery, which is a very serious crime, 38% occur in Gauteng. And the next province is KZN with about 19%. So if we look at that, murder, I must say that's very evenly spread through South Africa. But even there, Gauteng is in a second position with 20.8%, where the Western Cape, for example, is 18.3. The only province that beat us on murder is actually KZN. The murder figure there is higher. Right, so this showed that General Mawela will have to have, I mean, the operational experience will help a lot. But he has a massive task in front of him.
Well, let's talk about that task. What do you think he has to do differently from his predecessors to start fighting those statistics that you just alluded to? Well,
he don't have to do everything different from his predecessors. He can also learn from his predecessors. The predecessors which you know, especially during the World Cup, the years 2010, 2011, even 29, we had very significant decreases in Gauteng, but also in South Africa, of these crimes that I've just mentioned. And the main story there is police visibility based on intelligence at station level. And I think that is one thing that the general should really do, is to look at all these stations. There are quite a few bad apples when we look at stations in Gauteng. I mean, there's a lot of stations which can improve quite a lot. If you take, for example, a crime that I didn't even mention, public robbery, which is your first indicator. If public robbery, street robbery, decreases as in 29, 10 and 11, it is actually the first indicator that you have visibility based on intelligence. And if we take it that Johannesburg Central and Hillbrow, those two stations, are actually right at the top of the list for street robbery, street and public robbery, followed by a whole range of others: Pretoria Central, Jeppe, Midrand, Kempton Park, Morocco, Sunnyside, Sandton, Kagiso, Alexandra, and I can continue for the next few minutes. But the issue is, those are stations, especially stations where there's high levels of robbery. He will have to look at visibility, and the visibility must not just be visibility, random visibility. It should be based on the basis of, on top of good intelligence.
All right, so you talk about these stations, and one of the things that Commissioner Mawela spoke about, he said that he wanted to empower stations. What might that mean?
Well, he must empower stations by looking at the human resources. Is there enough human resources? Not only enough, it's not only about numbers, but are those people well trained at station level? Do they know how to do crime prevention? Do they know how to do detection, if that is their job? And then those who analyze the information at station level, it's very important that each station management, the station commander plus his management, must know exactly where, when, why, and who. The when, where, why, and who of crime. What crime occur at what time, at what hotspot. And then also who's involved. What is the possibility, who's involved there, and then further intelligence on that. So if he wants to empower, first thing, intelligence. Second thing, human resources, which are well trained. And then also vehicles and equipment. I mean, without vehicles, you can't do prevention in a province like Gauteng.
All right, so I guess also going forward, one of the issues that he's going to have to grapple with, especially given the way the former Commissioner De Lange has been accused of being involved in some fraud scheme, corruption within the force itself. How does he tackle that?
Oh, that is actually a national problem, but the provincial commissioner will also have to look at that. I think wherever there's any indication of corruption, wherever in the province or in the police service as such, those people should be suspended and very quickly investigated. Some of these cases just take too long. It takes years for a case to be investigated. And if there's corruption, well, you have to get rid of those members. If there's no corruption, the member can be reinstated and do his or her job. But I think sometimes that these cases are just taking too long, and it have there's no clear sanction. So in many cases people are enticed. But unfortunately also we must remember, in the province of Gauteng, organized crime is also very rife. I mean, I referred to the whole issue of gangsters' paradise. Gauteng is the province of organized crime. We can start with CIT robberies, and we can go right through to drugs and a whole lot of other issues. Organized crime is very involved, and unfortunately they have got the money. If we look at something like, for example, illegal gold mining, which is also rife in Gauteng, those people have got money. They can buy any police officer. So General Mawela also there have to very seriously look at corruption, and hopefully, and I believe, and I hope that will be the case, that he himself will walk the narrow road and not be enticed by any kind of corruption at all.
All right, Dr. de Kock, thanks very much indeed. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed for your insights. That was Dr. Chris de Kock speaking to us about the appointment of Lieutenant General Elias Mawela as the new Commissioner of Gauteng. And he says that it's a good appointment given his experience, particularly in operations. But he definitely has quite a big task at hand. Right, we're